We're live.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for being with us today, Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. It was time around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, this is In the Cypher. I'm your co host, Kujo Brown,
I'm your other co-host, the bad guy.
and we are In the Cypher. Today, we discuss our normal politics, tech, culture, and this time we got a little bit of both here. We have some politics and some culture to discuss with a guest, Dr. Clarence Taylor. Dr. Clarence Taylor is Brooklyn-born historian, a professor of emeritus in Baruch College, a graduate center, CUNY, specializing in civil rights, Black Power movements, African American religion, New York City policing, teacher unionism, big one right there. He
Hmm.
earned his degrees from Brooklyn College, NYU, CUNY's Graduate Center as well. Before entering academia, Taylor spent 8 years as a special education teacher in Brooklyn, then taught social studies at James Madison. I remember Madison High School, played basketball against them. He later held faculty positions at Lee Moyen College, Florida International University, before joining Baruch College in 2004, where he chaired the Department of Black and Latino Studies until becoming professor emeritus in 2017. Turler has authored or edited several notable books, with highlights including Reds at the Blackboard, 2011, Fight the Power, 2019, A History of Policing and Brutality in New York City. I think we're all familiar with that. And the Historic Black Brooklyn, 2021, which won the New York City Book Award. His edited volume, Civil Rights Since 1787, won the 2001 Gustavus Myers Prize. Hope I said that right, folks. He was also awarded a Fulbright Scholarship in 1997 and named Baruch College Scholar of the Year in 2012. Beyond academia, he has appeared in NPR, Black Agenda Report podcast, and in several documentaries, including PBS Film, The Woman in the Iron Coffin, an HBO documentary, Ali and Kavit, The Tales of Two Tapes. Welcome here. Welcome aboard, Dr. Taylor.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Nice, nice. Is there anything you'd like to address before we get going?
Well, I mean, the news is rapidly changing, and
Yeah.
it's extremely. Well, I wouldn't say extremely hard, but it is. To bring some analysis to this,
Hmm.
quite challenging. But of course,
Yeah.
we do so.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do. Let's dive into some things in regards to what we have, which is a big one on our plate now, because we all are dealing with the effects of this, which is the Middle East. And do you want to tackle this? You want to tackle
Yeah,
this
I've,
one up?
I've got the questions here.
Tackle it.
I can start with the first ones. Doctor, what do you think about Trump's comments about the fact that the Trump administration has been negotiating with, I think he said, the president of Iran? But meanwhile, the word coming out of Iran and non-US media is that Iran says they're not. There is no, you were getting two stories. And I kind of think I know the answer, Doc. I don't want to steal your thunder. I was telling my daughter the other day, there's this concept of say anything. I think Trump has taken it to another level where he says everything so that he can
Yeah.
then point, I said that was going to happen.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, clearly, he's negotiating with some imaginary friend in Iran, and then it's pretty clear in a desperate position. Now, heard conservatives say the autocratic regime like Iran, oh, you're going to believe the president of the United States. Well, yes, okay. Iran is a theocracy without a doubt. It is a nation that I would say that has repressed some of its people. But in this case, I would say I would take Iran's word over this pathological liar in the White House. He is quite obvious. He attempted to talk about these negotiations to calm the markets. He,
So you're saying it's So you're saying it's coming from like a financial aspect, basically.
Mhm.
Well, yes. I mean, it's clear American people are facing these climbing prices at the fuel tank. Farmers are seeing fertilizer prices skyrocket. We see products rising, and the economic news gets worse every day.
Mhm.
No, barrel of oil is constantly keeps climbing. In fact, as predicted, it will be up to 120. I mean, so
Oh,
it's the situation looks disastrous, and it's not just in the United States. We see
Mm.
that the whole global economy has been devastated by Israel and the United States joint attack on Iran.
So just to ask this question, like I think we understand it's not even like 50% of the oil comes from that area, if
Right.
I'm correct, right? It's like 20%?
yeah, it's
Well,
about
it
20% internationally.
20% comes from the Strait of Hormuz, and so that strait is between Oman and Iran. And Iran, being the more powerful country militarily, can control that,
Mm,
and they were able to shut it down, not
mm.
allow ships to pass through there because 20% of oil and, of course, liquefied gas comes through
That's the
there.
other part.
Yes.
Mm.
And in some cases, the United States doesn't get much. They get some, but 80% of the oil that Americans use are produced in the United States. But this
But
is not true.
doctor, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure,
Oil is essentially a zero-sum game. Any less on the board means the prices around the globe
that's
are
right.
gonna go up. So that
That's
20%, even though we're not getting it directly from there, it is go
Mm.
and that's why our gas prices I think in about last week and a half, the gas prices here have gone up almost $1.
that's right. They have gone over $1 in some places.
Same
I
here.
Yeah, so, I'm in South Florida, and when I got down here in February, the price for a gallon regular was, $2.83. I went to,
Okay.
gas my car this morning, it's $4.19.
Oh, you're on the same page as me, so I'm not as far south as you, I'm up in Tampa, but
Ah,
the prices over here are between 4 to 4.19.
yeah. So, and I'm looking at the faces of people, and they are not happy, you
You
know?
voted for this.
No,
They
but you
probably
know what?
voted for it.
At least the price of eggs has gone down. I think I upset some dude in the supermarket this morning. Me and my wife, dude, a gallon of milk. So there's the store brand and then the name brand that the store sells. The
Yeah,
name
Mhm.
brand gallon of milk was 6.29.
wow. I mean,
Wow.
That's crazy for milk.
it is,
Mm.
and for working class folks, this is, devastating.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, so Trump plays this game that, we're on the verge of settling this, but at the same time telling you we're going to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age,
Mhm.
the racist term, where it belongs.
Mm.
Yeah, there is some well, maybe not some full-fledged racism, but there's racism in that back to the Stone Age. Because I've noticed over time that anything in the global south, they always want to bomb or, raise back into the quote unquote Stone Age,
That's right.
which is, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, we
what we
all know where that's
consider who
going
was
to.
where during the Stone Age.
Well, yeah, and I mean, this idea that you can just watch this war and just kill loads of people, and they think this is just going to be very easy because these folks are backward, they're not civilized, and this is the language that you always hear from
Yes.
these folks about these folks being savages, uncivilized. They are folks who abhor Christianity, not like us, and so on. And so all this language that's being used from this administration and its supporters.
Hmm.
And they seem now shocked by Iran's well planned defense.
No, I mean, they had 40 something years to plan this defense.
Yes, and the fact that these folks who want this war don't have any knowledge and don't think they should study that part of the world.
True.
Well, yeah, when you say study that part of the world, so like Russia or the USSR, how they wasted so much of their military in Afghanistan, our own experience in Afghanistan, our experience in Iraq, right? You would
Right.
assume that after all of these wars, that they would have
Vietnam
learned.
War.
But I also have a bit of a theory on that. This is to enrich the military industrial complex even more. For them, because they're not actually spending any blood in this, prolonged engagement is ideal, especially if they're burning through $1 million munitions all the time. So,
Right.
the people who are profiting, and there's always profit in war, there's always
Right.
profit in war. The people who are profiting off of this, it's not profitable for them to evolve their strategy, because the problem I see us having right now in the Middle East is that we're still fighting the Millennium War. We're still fighting the war from 2000. That's not where we're at anymore. I mean, Russia and the Ukraine should have proven that to us, because the war they're fighting is fairly unconventional compared to what we did in Iraq and in Afghanistan.
That's true, because the military industrial complex reigns in this country.
Right.
Mm.
But the problem is that the United States can produce so many of these
Mhm.
weapons, and they are at a point where they have given Israel so many to carry on its genocide in
Mm.
Gaza, and the United States has been potentially building up to confront China. And now they faced this war that they thought would be over in a week, and now they have to commit more resources to it.
I
And
think I've
that is clearly causing Trump consternation.
I think the budget, if I'm correct, they're asking for something like 200 billion plus or something.
Additional,
An additional 200 million. Yep.
Yep.
yeah, 200, 200 billion for
Billion with a B.
yes,
Yeah.
to carry on this campaign. This is after telling folks that we obliterated their military capability.
Well, yeah, yesterday he intimated that there might be nuclear fallout, that there's nuclear dust
Yes,
apparently
there is.
at these, which again,
That's
I don't know whether to believe him or not, right? Like
yeah, yeah, that's true.
what what they had said before all this was that there was no danger of nuclear fallout because the uranium was buried so deep in the earth. Now
Yeah,
there's, and he's liable to change that story at a moment's notice. Somebody will ask him about that statement, and he'll be like, "No."
Well, there is environmental fallout. There's always the case with war.
true.
And
Hmm, hmm.
right, because they have been hitting industrial plants, chemical plants, and of course that is giving off, uh, uh, toxic gases. Israel has been doing this, and so the environmental cost is enormous. And let's not underplay the impact that it has on Iran.
Mm.
Hmm.
This is devastating to this country.
Speaking of Israel that you mentioned, and then I'm just gonna jump one question, we'll come circling back around a little bit, but what about Israel and what understanding do you have with them as far as do they even understand what they got themselves into in this long fight?
Yeah, well, Israel's objectives are clearly different from the United States.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Israel convinced Trump to join in this attack. Now, Netanyahu's been doing this 40 years, and he has not gotten any president to go along except for Donald Trump.
Hmm.
And Israel objectives, they want to essentially make it a non-functioning state, a failed state.
Mhm.
Israel wants to be the superpower in that region. And one country that is standing in its way is Iran.
Yes.
Mm.
And so, he's gotten the United States to help do his bidding, Netanyahu, in this struggle. Now, Trump's reason for doing it, it's not clear. He changes every day. But I think one reason he wanted to do this is that he thought it would be a notch in his belt.
Mhm.
We knocked off Venezuela. That was so easy. We can
Mm.
knock off Iran, and I'm going to be seen as the guy who took care of Iran while other presidents couldn't do it. While we're at it, we can go south and take care of Cuba.
He wants to be seen as a conquering president. That's what he
Yes,
that's
yes,
his Monroe or Donroe doctrine.
that's right.
I like that Don Road doctrine.
Yes, that's what he wants to call it. That's what he's calling.
Now, doctor, I actually have a bit of a follow-up question there. So, I get the feeling that Israel wanted us involved with the war or military action in Iran so that they could then be freed up to do what they just started doing in Lebanon and possibly attack other
Yeah,
locations that they see as integral to their greater Israel plan,
that's right.
right? And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the uh, which sect of Islam are the Houthis a part of? That's the same sect as the ruling class of Iran, right? Okay,
So
and that's most of that sect of Islam is Israel's major what Israel would consider its major enemy. So while we're attacking I guess the funding head of these groups, Israel's able to now, with impunity, go and attack these smaller groups because we're occupying Iran. Iran can't support these other groups if we're involving them in this war.
well, the argument that they made for the June attack
Hmm.
in Israel is that we took care of Iran's proxies.
Hmm.
We knocked out Hezbollah. We went into Lebanon and we didn't get rid of them, but we made them incapable of attacking us. They made the same argument about, bombing Yemen.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, you see Hezbollah attacking again. You see the Houthis join this conflict. Even Hamas, which
Hmm.
Israel claimed it had destroyed, um, has joined. So it's a failed project, the Greater Israel Project. Um, expansion of Israel. I mean, they are going to go into Lebanon, but the question is, will they be able to hold on to it?
Mm.
Hezbollah clearly is a force that's striking back at Israel.
Well, and I think if
United
go,
States leaves, Israel then has a problem. And so I heard Netanyahu say yesterday that we've almost finished our objectives in Iran. So he's anticipating the United States pulling out.
okay.
And so once that happens, Israel then does not want to be isolated facing Iran. You know?
Mm.
So I think this notion that they can essentially do away with the one force in that area that can fight back on Israel. I mean, that's a failed project.
Mm.
And Trump also almost admitted defeat last night.
Mm.
So I missed this. You guys can fill me in, please?
Well, during his his address to the nation last night, one of the goals, I mean, because the goals keep changing, was the takeover of Hormuz. Well, he said, well, it really
Hmm.
doesn't bother us. It's really not in our interest. And, so let other nations deal with that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
Basically,
sounds like
he
giving up.
essentially he's pushing
yeah.
back on the EU now.
Well, yes, he's extremely angry at the EU because he has no allies. I think Keir Starmer made it very
But I
clear.
mean, he isolated himself from the EU.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, the one of the closest ally, England, its prime minister made it very clear. He said, "This is not our war." His words. This is not
Mm.
our war. And so, uh, the European nations have rejected Trump attempting to bully them into supporting the U.S. in its campaign. So the U.S. is
I
isolated.
think the Middle Eastern countries and do you think the Middle Eastern countries feel a little bit, like they made a mistake in siding with the
Well, some
US
of the Gulf
because
nations.
they've lost so much when it comes to oil production?
Well, yes, because they have one protector, so they thought, and that is the United States, and they're finding out that the United States can't protect them.
Mhm.
So this is quite upsetting because, you know, some of these nations wanted some of the Gulf nations like Saudi Arabia wanted the United States to attack Iran because they've been enemies in spite of China attempting to bring Iran and Saudi Arabia together for a minute. So we thought this was going to be the case. But now, with the United States joining with Israel, the Gulf, Iran and Bahrain, excuse me, and Saudi Arabia said, we support the United States. In fact, we encourage the United States to do this. And it turns out that this thing is complete failure because they said, well, we're getting hit. And they really don't have strong enough armies to go against
No.
Iran. Right. They don't have enough military might to go against Iran. And so if the United States leaves, these nations are in trouble.
Mm.
Well, if the United States pulls out and we don't, stay to see the Strait of Hormuz opened or at least negotiate that the opening of the strait,
Right.
what's to stop? Because my understanding is that Iran is already allowing tankers through so long as the countries that are receiving those tankers are paying in the yuan, in
That's
the
right.
Chinese dollar.
That's right.
So
Mm.
that's essentially, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but it would be possible that, Europe gets so starved for petroleum that they decide to start trading with Iran in the
Yes. Well,
yuan,
and or they may force to buy some of that Russian oil.
which is the other, person or group that's benefited from this war is
Right.
Russia because we had an embargo on Russian oil tankers. Now we're going to let them through to Cuba.
Yeah, you had to well, yes, they had to lift some of the sanctions on Russian oil.
Mhm.
So Russia's been making, some money on this, but to the point where Zelensky is, you know, beside himself, you
Well,
know.
I read yesterday that Zelensky signed an agreement, I think, with Saudi Arabia
Yes.
for either training or actual protection with their drone fleets,
Yes, they
or
became
from the drone fleets
so,
because the Russians are using the drones on them.
Oh,
yes.
that's gonna get interesting.
Yes. So, yeah, so it's sort of, sort of bizarre, um, situation here where we see this situation expand, you know? Um,
That is definitely a very PG way to describe what's going on.
Bizarre.
Fubar. Fubar is a very good way to describe it.
yeah.
So, but going to this question, right? The November elections, like, what do you think they're going to try to do to clean up this mess? Like, because they don't. This is not faring well on any level, and not here, not internationally. I don't even think this is just not working out for him at all. And I don't know why he thought he was. Obviously there's some Epstein distraction involved there. But what do you think they're gonna do? What do you think this is gonna do as far as affecting those November elections?
Well, it clearly is not gonna do help the Republicans.
Right, right, right.
So,
Bloodbath.
yes. And, I mean, they've lost 30 straight, special elections.
They won one the other day here in Florida.
Oh, they did, okay.
Yeah, but here's the catch. The
Uh-huh.
seat that they won was vacated by a Republican who ran here in Hillsborough County and lost. So they
Uh,
didn't gain a seat. They just replaced a Republican with a Republican.
Okay.
and barely won. Spent 10 to 1 on ads. I
Okay.
think the winning Republicans spent about $2,000 per vote, where
Jeez.
the Democrats spent less than 200 per vote.
Okay.
Mm.
So, okay, so they got 1 out of 31.
Hmm.
So, yes, and a massive turnout this weekend where you had anywhere from, estimated from 8 to 10,000,000
Yeah.
pouring out in the streets. Clearly is a sign that these folks are in trouble.
Yeah.
So, what are they going to do? I mean, they obviously are going to try voter repression. They are going to send ICE agents to polling places, but I don't think any of that's going to have any, not going to have an impact. You know, they're going to try to stop mail-in voting. And they're going to try all kinds of things, but I think at this point it's too late.
Well, and they're gonna try everything that they've tried. Every election cycle, they have a new trick, but it's always the same old tricks as well.
Right.
And I think sort of like what they've essentially done to themselves in Texas, gerrymandered themselves out of these seats they thought they were going to win.
That's right.
They're essentially in that same place because they essentially needed to replicate what Trump did, pulling in Latino voters.
Right.
They've lost those. Pulling in young voters, they've lost a lot of those.
Yes.
And pulling in non-MAGA centrist independent voters, they've
Yes.
lost those. Really, all he has left is MAGA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even that is getting a little sketchy because there
Oh
was
no, you didn't know? He's 100% with MAGA.
because he is MAGA, right? It's like there's a big
Oh.
thing in the New York Times article about the young MAGA is starting to turn around. They're like, "We need to put this guy in jail." Like, I think we spoke about this one time, Dr. Taylor, and it's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think at the CPAC meeting,
Yeah, the chef was the chef, the head of CPAC. He asked if they what did they think about impeachment, or yeah,
yes,
it
and
was
he meant
impeachment,
that
and they
as a
cheered.
warning, right? He meant that as a warning. He said, you know, Democrats are elected. This is what's going to happen. He did not
Hmm.
expect people to start applauding. And his response is the
mm,
right response.
And then they more subdued cheered.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's clearly, I mean, and of course, you got all these podcasters who were on board with MAGA, you know, like
Hmm.
Carlson Tucker. I mean, yeah.
Carson Tucker.
Tucker Carlson, Joe
Tuck
Rogan.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe Rogan has broken with Trump. I mean, he's clearly, and he said, "I made a mistake voting for him."
Yeah,
And,
but
I don't believe that.
that whole "I made a mistake" thing is because he realizes that his fans are rebelling, because the comment sections of a lot of these podcasts that were supporting Trump prior
yeah,
to the war, those
yeah,
comment sections are on fire. Like,
Yeah,
even
yes,
yeah,
these kids feel like they were lied to.
yeah.
yes. They thought they were voting for the anti-war candidate, and
Mhm.
some of these podcasters, a guy named Jimmy Dore,
Oh man.
yeah, he was big on presenting Trump as the anti-war candidate
Hmm.
Haha.
and attacking Kamala.
Jimmy Dore was a former host on TYT on the Young Turks,
That's right.
and he was, for a time, he was to the left of the main hosts.
That's right. Jason Hugo, right. That's right. He presents himself as some type of leftist. But, you know, and there's a bunch of them who I can say, yeah, these are sort of called white leftists who support Donald Trump.
That make
Capitalists. They're not leftists.
Good,
They're
good,
capital leftists.
yeah,
right.
yeah, they're not leftists. They're just trying to cash in.
But and that's the feeling that I get from some of the more popular podcasters, including Tucker Carlson. They're trying to cash in on the discontent, so they're going in on the discontent. But
Yeah.
if Trump was able to run again, Tucker Carlson is voting for him again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's voting for him again. Megyn Kelly, of course, will vote
Hmm.
again. I mean, 'cause,
Yeah,
these
she's a
folks,
psycho.
one thing that these folks do support is replacement theory, right? This whole
Yeah.
replacement notion that people of color, dark-skinned people are coming into this nation and taking over.
Hmm.
And Tucker Carlson made that very clear. Not
He's one of the biggest proponents that I know of replacement theory.
yes, and so, and their anti-war notion is that, we should be spending money on Americans and not wasting it on these dark-skinned people. Although Tucker Carlson did come out and say what Israel was doing and Gaza was genocide. He did.
They did. He did.
I will
The
give
thing is,
credit.
yeah, the thing is, I think even with somebody like Marjorie Green Taylor, who turned ship early for, I think, financial reasons, and I think
Yes,
she saw the ship sinking
yes,
and was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna bail before this gets really ugly and try to clean up, whatever trail of mess I left behind me, so I could possibly come back again and run for a higher position because she's
There
not
you
done.
that's right. I
Yeah,
mean, he's an
yeah.
opportunist.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's a careerist. She's not silly enough. Somebody got in her ear though. I got to give her credit for that. She paid attention
uh,
and she got out. I think one of the other things I wanted to ask is like with all these Republicans now, a lot of them are not running another term. They're
yes.
right.
Yes. Well, I mean, like we said, they see the writing on the wall, right? They know
Mm,
it's going to be terrible
well,
in November.
my understanding is like a record number of House Republicans not running for reelection, or it's the
Yeah.
most that it's been in almost 100 years.
Yes. And and Trump is clearly nervous scared about it.
getting
He
impeached.
said, if you don't take the House, he says, I'm going to be impeached again.
Steve Bannon says they're going to jail.
Yes,
Yeah, you heard that too.
criminal investigation. And, and I think that's why this Pam Bondi tried so hard to please Trump.
Mm,
Because she's going to be one of the people that they're going to investigate. She will
Oh
be in
yes,
for
trouble.
sure,
Yes.
for sure.
yeah. Kujo and I discussed that. She was Attorney General down here
Yes.
when Epstein got that easy deal. And if I remember what I read correctly, there were like, I don't want to say 200 cases, but 200 complaints against Epstein lodged with the Florida DA, not DA, Attorney General.
General Jerry. Yes. Yeah. I mean, she was one of the people covering for him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So
mm.
she clearly will be some legal hot water.
Yeah. I also think that she's gonna face some trouble with her brother also, who's, I believe, also a lawyer, and
Yep.
literally almost everybody that comes to her brother with a case throws a little money in the pot to Trump, and
Yep.
they're just walking free,
Yeah.
and I think that's gonna come back to bite them, both of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Trump administration has been the most corrupt government in American history.
Yeah.
Uh, they talk about other scandals in the past, like the Teapot Dome scandal. Nothing has been this bad.
No, no.
They're openly corrupt. No one has done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I was actually going to mention that before when we were talking about him mentioning things and markets moving. I've heard a lot of talk about possible market manipulation with some of these truths or tweets or whatever you call them, but
Yeah.
essentially suspicious buys and sells, especially in the oil market, just before crucial announcements that drove the market.
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And, I am sure that is going to be investigated.
yeah. Because that person turned into a millionaire overnight.
Yeah, millionaire.
Yeah, I mean, who
Millionaire with
knows
some
where else.
zeros.
And let's be honest, we don't know where else they may have placed bets.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
They
just what we were able to catch, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And
So,
of course,
but
this
there's a lot of things swirling around, and I
yeah.
just kinda sum this all up, like, where do you think Trump is going with this war, and what do you think far as, like, what does the
So
ending look like? Like, the best and worst case scenarios from your perspective, Doctor Taylor?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, because he's so I mean,
Yeah.
they move masses the number of troops there. Now, I understand he does not want to use ground forces because he knows that's going to lead to
Mm,
um,
mm.
thousands.
Casualties.
It's gonna be a lot of casualties. Well, you're yeah, you're sending foot soldiers essentially in against hardened locations.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And
it's scary.
yes, but like I said, these folks don't have enough sense for this. I mean, he's been warned. We are finding out that military officials told him that the Strait of Hormuz could be closed if you launch his attack. So he knew in the beginning,
Mhm.
did it. He
Yep.
nevertheless went ahead and did it. So, let's say he's so unpredictable. He's sending all these forces there. The guy does not want to be seen as a loser.
Even though he's a loser.
It's too late
Yes.
for that. Sure.
Oh,
Right.
that's hilarious.
Keeps lying to the American people about how we're winning this war, how we it's his favorite word, right? Obliterated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Their Navy, their Air Force, which they didn't have much to begin with.
Mhm.
So we've done all this, so we can actually declare ourselves winners at this point. So does that mean he's going to move out? I mean, but at the same time, we see these forces there. So, and then you get the Secretary of quote war, you know,
Oh,
sounding
boy.
like a high school kid on steroids,
He does sound like he's
bragging.
on he does sound like he's
Doctor,
on
I
steroids,
don't
right?
know if you've been, able to catch this. I'm not a big fan of Saturday Night Live, but Colin Jost does an amazing Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, that guy's right. He really does. I might have to send you that link, doc. It's a good one,
Okay, yeah, I'd like to see that.
It is hilarious.
you
The
know?
description you just gave of him is exactly the vibe you get
Yeah.
watching his skit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad. Is that I mean real bad.
Yes. It's terrible, and, I think, while they may support this war in Israel, that is not the case in the United States.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. Not at all. So for what I'm gathering, you're unsure what direction it's gonna go because it's things are so unpredictable with Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, you know, we know prices are gonna go up. We're gonna see, gas prices hike for regular gas over $5, maybe
Oh,
head to
diesel's gonna be
$6.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In some cases, the global economy is just shaken to its knees by this.
And the gas prices is the first wave effect.
Yes.
Everything in the United States sits on a truck at some point,
Yep.
Yes.
right? Or it comes in on a ship, but there's some kind of fuel being used to move that. And just like with the tariffs, the companies they might eat that charge for a little while to see if they could outlast that price increase in fuel, but
Yeah.
eventually they're going to hand us that price.
Yes.
I think they already have.
Yeah, well, yeah. The
No, we're still dealing with the ripple effect of those tariffs. A lot of these companies at least claim that they were eating at least a piece of that tariff increase and they're passing it along to us now. I'm dealing with that with Dell. I just had to order like $15,000 worth of laptops so that we
right.
could get them bought before April 1st because the Dell rep told us April 1st, you're going to see the price increase.
Well, yeah,
Interesting.
but some folks have already increased. I mean, some companies have already increased the price. For example, you look at coffee.
Yep. God, I look at coffee every day. It hurts.
And so items like that, you already see the price soaring, and that I do hear lots of people complain.
Oh, yeah. I like
So,
good coffee, and my good coffee is like $12 a pound.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's what was it before this?
The
Yeah,
Bustelo Black was about $8 a pound.
yeah. And so, I mean, you keep seeing these prices go up. The people are clearly unhappy, and that's why you see many Republicans saying that we are unhappy with Trump.
Mm.
And someone asked me last night, why did people support this guy, knowing that he can hurt them economically? And, my answer is like, it's racism.
There you go.
He
I think
told
for a portion of his voters it was, but I think a portion of his voters were fooled. A lot of his voters were fooled. They thought that they were going to get something better than Obamacare. They thought they were going to see price. One, they thought that he wasn't responsible for the inflation, which he was, right?
yeah,
They thought it was all Joe Biden's fault. So a lot of these people were sold a bill of goods. I don't have particular amount of sympathy for them because it's not like we weren't out there trying to tell them this. Not we, like the three of us. I mean, in general, the world outside of their little cult was trying to tell them this.
yeah. Well, and I think that's true for a certain percentage of these folks, but lots of them voted for Trump because he said he's going to take care of dark-skinned people,
Mhm.
folks coming into the country. He's going to take care of DEI,
Yep.
and those African,
Yeah.
those folks of African origins, those are the taking taking over the universities. They are in a position where you are losing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so we have to stand up. I mean, that has just been his pet peeve for a long time. And I keep saying that he has three major objectives: to enrich himself and his family, two is to seek retribution, and
Mhm.
three, white supremacy. He fired Pam Bondi today because of
Yeah.
number two. She was not delivering retribution.
Yeah.
Mm.
They said the inside word is that one of the reasons she got fired is because he hasn't I guess he's not satisfied with the prosecution of his perceived enemies.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
He wanted that, and he had already warned her, and she had lost the Comey case. He lost the James case. She has not been doing very, and some others.
Man, that poor woman. I'm not saying like I feel bad for her like that, but it's like,
Yeah, no, she's a disgusting person. But
yeah, she's a disgusting person. But I just, and we discussed this before, bad guy, which is it just seems like this Trump regime puts the women right at the forefront to take all the shots. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that definitely seems like a theme right
They are
now.
the most expendable.
Yeah.
yes, well,
Yeah.
that is true, and they have to look a certain way.
Mhm. Look, they're already talking about getting rid of Tulsi Gabbard next.
Yes,
And to the doctor's point, because he hasn't gotten what he wants out of her, which is evidence of cheating in Georgia.
that's right.
He want I'm pretty sure he's not happy that he's not getting the voting rolls from all the states.
Right.
Mhm.
No, so that objective, he's failing. Now, he's been successful enriching himself without a doubt,
Phew.
and he's been pretty good at promoting white supremacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, A1 for that. You got a gold star.
Yes, I would say
And
yes.
the patriarchy as well.
Yes.
And this is what the point I was trying to make before about fooling
Mhm.
some people. Like he got some black men to vote for him by being anti-black women because their idea was that, oh, well, these black women are going to be the ones that lose the DEI jobs, not me because I'm a guy. It's the women that are going to lose the jobs. So like he played on that sexism even
Yeah.
within a race or an ethnicity
Yes.
because we're like that.
Yeah.
I'm Puerto Rican, so Latinos, we're definitely like that. I know a lot of Latino men who would rather be within proximity to white man's power than to empower their own women.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the
Yeah.
thing though with the black men is the numbers.
Mhm.
It's such a small amount
This is
Yeah,
the
no, no,
that
no,
he
no, no.
got.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't y'all fault. It
It wa
was us.
Yeah,
We fucked
it
up.
wasn't yeah,
yes.
it wasn't significant.
Well,
Yeah.
I heard the neoconservative Bill Kristol,
Hmm.
he was talking to some host. I forgot whether was it Simone Sanders on MSNBC or someone I forgot. And they were using that line about Kamala Harris lost, and it mentioned the CNN host or MS Now host mentioned about black men. Well, This conservative guy turned around and said, "No, no, no, not the fault of white men. This is the fault of people who look like me."
Oh.
Yeah, he said
Yeah,
he says it's the fault of white men, and
yeah,
white men voted overwhelmingly
Oh, yeah.
d across, across class lines. For white women, that was not necessary too, because many white women who got college degrees, majority of them voted for Kamala Harris. And so, I mean, I listen to these white men, and clearly you can almost feel the viciousness,
Mhm.
or black folks, Latinos, Muslims. I mean, it's sort of
For
off.
anyone that's not white, pretty
Yes,
much.
basic
right. There's
But they're very willing to subjugate themselves to other white men.
yes, yes, and actually and sacrifice their own economic interest.
yeah, which
We
is
me and
insane.
Cujo have talked about that one before.
So, I say that Kamala Harris made a lot of mistakes. We can't rule out that a lot of folks wouldn't vote for her because she's a woman and of course she's a black woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and so I know one of the throwaways they tried to pin on her was sleeping her way to the top, which is what
Oh,
they try to say. The only reason they didn't say, and I'm sorry to be judgmental here, the only reason they didn't say that about Hillary Clinton is because one, she's been in the limelight forever, and
Yeah,
two, because she's not attractive at all. So it's like you're not going to get away with trying to say she slept her way to the top. But
right,
yeah,
they love to any AOC. They try to paint they try to put her in this, like,
right.
trampy kind of, persona
Yes,
because she was a bartender, and it's like,
yes.
it's disgusting, honestly, but it's just a cheap way to trigger male chauvinism.
So,
yeah.
well, the maybe when gas is $8, some of those guys gonna wake us, okay, we had enough. We're gonna cry on.
Man. But,
Oh, man.
unless we, have any other things to cover, I think we could kinda wrap it up there. We, went for a strong hour just about,
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
So, folks, any closing remarks, Dr. Taylor? Anything else you wanna like to share or say?
Well, I'm gonna just tell people, you gotta be vigilant. We gotta, spread the word that we don't want this situation to get any worse. You gotta come out and you gotta be politically active. And one issue is that the Democrats have sort of run away with in particular, these Democrats that are the centrist Democrats, is the issue of war and peace.
Mhm.
And that's always been a crucial part of being a progressive. And so
Mhm.
backed away from that. Democrats support a lot of wars, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I say that we need to sort of
Yeah, I think that's gonna a lot of the wars we've gotten into in the last 20, 30 years have been at the behest of Israel. And like I've spoken to Cujo about, I think support of AIPAC is going to be a really big Achilles heel in the next couple of election cycles. If there's one thing that can unify this country at this point is opposition to sending our money to Israel, whether it's
Mm.
people who are concerned about it strictly for a fiscal reason, all the way to the other side that will unfortunately be in the same group with, where it's an anti-Semitic thing. But I think you're gonna see a convergence of that whole we're tired of funding this country while they're out here committing genocides.
that's right, that's right. And you can see the growing percentages of folks who, now see Israel in a bad light.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Large.
yeah, rightfully so.
Mhm.
Because the cry of anti-Semitism is less potent today than
Mhm.
Than ever before.
that's right. I mean, they can play that card so much when, people say, "Okay, enough of that. We know what you're attempting to do." Well, of course,
Yeah.
they're also attempting to take over the media, right? The Larry Ellison
Mm,
and so forth, and put, the sort of pro-Israel position, uh, in our faces in the media. No criticism.
yep.
Mm,
Yeah, so that becomes a problem. I think people are seeing through this now.
I think so as well. They're
Yeah.
getting there. I think it's very difficult to defend Israel at this point. It's not an easy task. I mean, good luck. That's all I could tell you
Yeah,
because I just don't see it happening.
no,
Very
you are
difficult.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see
Israel,
the defense of Israel attracting new voters to any candidate.
no.
No, no,
Or
no.
even
And the problem,
Hakeem Jeffries, who some people call him Pat Shakur,
Mhm.
now walking away from AIPAC, right?
yeah, him and Schumer, I think they need to just be unseated and kicked out. It's just
Yeah,
they're worthless at this
yeah.
point. They're
Schumer is
worthless,
clearly
you know.
worthless.
So, but I
Cujo, listen to me. If AOC runs against him, I will fly up to New York just to campaign for that lady. I
if you
campaigned
didn't
for her
know,
on her first congressional run, and I will fly up to New York just to campaign for that lady.
so if you
Yeah,
didn't know, Dr. Taylor, that guy is a full supporter of AOC. I'm more skeptical. I think she's a career
They
kind
all
of
are. They
yeah.
all are. I'm not
political,
gonna I'm
but
not gonna allow perfection to be the enemy of progress.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm not going to disagree. Not going to disagree on some of that. I just if let's just say my energy, I would put a lot more into what's up and coming. Like we gotta keep figuring that out. As you were saying, Dr. Taylor, basically in a nutshell, like people need to keep waking up. People need to organize. And one of the big things I think we really should do is get used to getting to know our neighbors again and forming communities because
Mhm.
with prices the way they're going to go, the way I see it, back in the days, people used to knock on each other's door and say, "Do you have some sugar? Do you have some do you have some flour?" Yeah, I see that happening again.
Oh, yeah.
I see that. And I think we have to take that into consideration. And even if it doesn't, hey, look, it's still good to know who the heck your neighbor is, have some kind of connection with them. 110%.
Sure.
Um, bad guy, you got any last? I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
I
man.
interrupted
This
you.
was a
You have
great
it?
conversation.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess we could round it out there. Folks, thank you for being with us. Thank you for spending time with us on this Thursday evening, coming to you live and direct from the podcast world. We will close it out for today. All right. Peace, folks.
Peace.